Hello everyone, just doing a little housekeeping. We're a few minutes early, but there's a lot to talk about today, so I want to get right to the point. Happy Tuesday. It's rainy here. We've had gorgeous Ohio weather, and we're looking forward to more. Hope your weather and your day is just all of that. We're going to have a quick review from last week. We started our series last week. There's three. This is number 2 today. Number 3 next week is going to be chock full of continuing the series. Next week we're going to talk about the recommended food plans. They're not like keto or Atkins or Weight Watchers or things like that. They're research recommended, blah, blah, blah. We'll go into all of that then, and lots more. Today, however, in our series, Designing Your Personal Wellness to Age Gracefully, we're talking about our immunity. We're going to do a quick review from last week, and the question is, why now? Why are we talking about wellness now? Well, unfortunately, that doggone COVID virus is still lingering. Layer that on top of the cold and flu season coming upon us, and this is why. This is why we need to be looking at our internal immunity, not just our outside immunity or armor. The masks, social distancing, washing our hands, being smart, where we go, why we go, all of that is very important. We're not dismissing that or nullifying it as essential right now. What we're talking about is our inner armor. This is a battle. Aging is a battle. But when we layer that with what I've just spoke of, it becomes much more apparent that we dig into this discussion of our own immunity. Last week we talked about the way we eat, and I often say it's not our fault. One of the reasons it's not our fault is lack of teaching. I'm not sure, with families being spread apart and we're not living in multi-generational homes to learn a lot, that we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants often, don't we? Or it gets to be dinner time and it's like, oh, let's order a pizza or go grab fast food or whatever it might be. But we're learning. There's so much we're learning what we need to learn. So what we talked about last week was many are too busy, too tired, they don't know what to cook. It's a conundrum. So this is why we're hitting, it is important what we eat, to pay attention to ourselves, right? We talked about, as always, the 3 pillars of aging gracefully: a healthy attitude, a healthy lifestyle, and a healthy home. You can't separate the 3. This is why I keep repeating and keep repeating, because these pillars, they're like a 3-legged stool. You take away one pillar and it's going to fall. You can be as healthy as you want in your eating, but you have a crummy attitude. You're grouchy, you're despondent, you're depressed, or whatever. You get the point. So the challenge is, where do we begin? How do we know what to do? Well, I'm going to give you a real quick background again. I graduated from Ohio University with a degree in home economics education. And it was a lot of foods and nutrition and a lot of home furnishings and some other textile, all of that. That knowledge is still sound. And then of course I went on interrupted Mitzi, to get a master's in interior design later and lots of other things. But my beginning was really focused on nutrition and foods. And it's carried with me all these decades, and I mean decades. This is my textbook from when I was there. My roomie, Linda's name is in here. She bought it after me for like $3.50. Oh, actually, sorry. I bought it for $5.95. She bought it for $4.50. But there's certain things that just are sound knowledge. So basic nutrition, and I'm going to go super fast because number one, I don't want to bore you. Number two, I don't want to take too much time on this. But background and foundational information is critical to our learning because then we get understanding. Without the understanding, it just, and then of course there's the implementation part of it. So proteins are needed for growth and repair and maintenance and regulatory for our hormones. We've learned when I did the series on protein and protein deficiencies, and I would advise you to review that if you haven't seen it, that we need protein every day. Our bodies do not store protein. Fats are sources of energy, carriers of fat-soluble vitamins. Carbs are a source of energy, but here's the caveat. Too many carbs end up glycemic transfer, which end up in the belly, muffin, all of that stuff that I fight, most of us fight all the time. Minerals do a lot on bones and teeth and strength and regulate the body process, as do vitamins. They're the organic catalyst, and for all the what goes on in these remarkable bodies, it's truly, our systems are miraculous in how they all work together. And that's the key. All of these work together. When I thought I was going to talk about the food pyramid, and it keeps changing over the decades, and as we learn more and more about our foods and what we need. But then I decided to use the healthy food plate. This has been more easily understood as what our plates should look like. And so I'm going to just quickly read what is important. I don't think you can see this, but half of the plate is fruits and vegetables. And then we have maybe a quarter is whole grains and a quarter is healthy protein. That's probably flip of the way most people eat, right? But it's use healthy oils, avocado. I like using avocado oil, and you don't taste it, but I use olive oil. This recommends canola oil. Veggies and a variety of fruits and vegetables on both of these sections, because each color provides different vitamins. As vitamin red, orange, yellow, we get a lot of vitamin A. Get the carotene, the association, carrot, orange, yada yada. And then vitamin C and whatnot. Oh, and it does say potatoes and French fries don't count. I didn't make this up. Then we have water. We've talked about that, drinking a lot of water. I haven't had my water today, and I can tell when my energy starts drooping, amongst other things, I know I need to get some water going. Drink water, tea, coffee, little or no sugar, limit dairy, and especially avoid sugary drinks. And so that's a challenge, isn't it? Eat a variety of whole grains that are not white. The rule of thumb is to scratch the white flour, the white rice, white sugar. Yeah, don't kill the messenger. I didn't do this. But whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, brown rice, and then the meats are fish, poultry, beans, nuts, limit, red meat, and cheese. There's been bacon and processed meats because of the high nitrate content. I know that a lot of us enjoy red meat, and we just try to get grass-fed, not fatty meats, and good sources of it, and not have it all the time. But Bob and I love a good steak or a hamburger or whatnot. It's just not the only meat we eat. And as far as the cheeses go, some of us have to watch our cholesterol. So even though I love cheese, it's high in fat. Dang. All right, so who gets all this every day? I don't. I try, but I don't get all of this healthy plate every day. So what do? Supplements. We're going to spend a little bit of time now talking about supplements and the controversy around them. I want to review for a moment last week where I said the doctor's nutritional training. Not to ditch them. Their schedule and their curriculum is whoa, right? That's not the point. The point is, I think the average was 1.9 hours of nutrition. Often, I hear it all the time, doctors telling patients, perhaps you do not need supplements if you get it from your food. Well, I just showed you what a healthy plate should look like. Look up other things for yourself. Who does get all of that? And so before anyone takes supplements or goes on a special diet or a new food eating plan, check with your doctors, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm only reporting what research says. And this is from the Harvard Public School of Health. I don't just pull things out of some fly-by-night research done somewhere, paid by some company. No, this is from public health. So research it for yourself, what we're supposed to have, and then what we don't get, all right? So, the controversy. Why I believe we need, and the research says, supplements help us maintain a high level immunity, or at least a moderate level of immunity, is because our food sources are compromised today. Our grandmothers could have 1 cup of spinach compared to our spinach today. We would need 6 to 8 cups to get the same nutrient value. The soil's depleted, it's not being turned over and using this field for that and that. It's a compromised big business. So if we are fortunate enough to do, areas that or farm to table, yes. But most of the time, we don't have that opportunity. Stress really robs us of a lot of immunity. And there's we've talked about that. Maybe we should do more on that. I write about it in my book, Design Smarts, what stress does to our hormones and how that depletes us, and the adrenal fatigue and all of that. That robs our immunity. Also, aging issues. Some of us are aging, and it's different for us. And by the way, I wanted to say that these food guides, food pyramid, healthy plate, not always do they take into account what age group it's a guide for. We're learning more and more as we age. We don't need less of things, we need more mostly. And that I can validate for you. Also, pesticides. Do we even need to go there, what that does to our immune system? For heaven's sakes, we're fighting so many other things, and now we fight, pesticides, and where have all the bumblebees gone? And things like that. I'm not a doom and gloom girl, but I am here to help us age gracefully. And we need to learn the facts, and not just, oh, my doctor says I don't need supplements. If you believe that, and you're getting all of this, and you feel like you're up there, fine. For me, I'm not taking that chance. Cold storage. Oh, how many times have I bought peaches, and they say, oh, put them on the counter, or put them in a brown bag, and then they're finally squishy, and they're pithy and awful. I bet there's hardly any nutrient value left in there. The vitamin C and other vitamins are leached out in cold storage. Today's lifestyle, too busy to shop or cook. Bingo, right there. This is why many of us take supplements, and we take a lot. So I ask you, can you fight these obstacles to healthy aging with your diet alone? And does your doctor talk to you about preventative measures rather than giving you a prescription? I am, again, not against meds. I take a couple myself, but I don't depend on medicine for my immunity and the quality of my health and healthy aging, not for a New York minute. So I will show you what I'm taking. I have researched a lot, and it's perplexing how much of this, how much of that. So I have found this company that I have an AM pack and a PM pack, and Bob and I start our day with this, and it has made a difference, I believe, for us. And the proof of that is my blood work. I go to a specialist on women's health. And along with that is a very extensive blood testing every 6 months. My numbers are really, really good. And they never used to be. I mean, my numbers are better now at my age than they were maybe 10 or 15 years ago because of all the effort. And it takes effort, you all. We can't just fly by the seat of our pants and hope that every report is going to be good. God love you if that works for you, but I'm not taking that chance. So, we've talked about osteo. Even if you have good bone density, we still need calcium, and I take calcium supplements. Very important for me. I just had a DEXA scan, and hooray, it is great. But I do the weight-bearing exercises and all the other things. I avoid soda, carbonated drinks that leach out of our bones, all kinds of things we can do, and good diet and whatnot. But calcium and vitamin D are really important, because the vitamin D allows the calcium to be absorbed, okay? Some healthy bone supplements will combine the vitamin D with the calcium and all, but for me, this is what I need to keep this body high level, no osteopenia. And plug for a DEXA scan. Medicare covers one every 2 years. It's covered, it's free. If you haven't had one, please find out what your DEXA score is. And then either be, yay, I'm fine, or I need to work on something, right? Now, we talked about why now, talking about our immune system. With the COVID and the cold and flu, many, and I've researched and recommend that we take extra vitamin C. You've heard this for years. This is not anything new about vitamin C in cold season, and basically all the time, but especially now. And then zinc. Zinc has been known to help us boost our immune system against the virus. What will it hurt? Neither of these are fat soluble, you all. So unless you're really overloading and taking way more, I don't see a risk. Again, I'm not a doctor. Check with yours. And unless they really know what they're doing, you may have to research beyond your beloved doctor to find it. The fat-soluble vitamins that we always hear, oh, don't take because it could be dangerous, is the vitamin D and vitamin A. Maybe vitamin K, I'll have to look that up, I forget. Those are fat-soluble. That's different than but I don't know if I mentioned this. If I did, forgive me, but 80% it is believed of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. So, FYI, if you don't have enough vitamin D, if you're taking just a calcium supplement, you're not helping it to be absorbed. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. So, so the wisdom to age gracefully then is the clean eating, which means trying to avoid the processed foods, the fast foods, soft drinks, sugary, all of that business. We're going to hit that next week. And again, like I've showed you, what I'm doing, and then also calcium, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C. Regular checkups, that of course goes without saying. How can we know how we are if we're not having regular checkup, physicals, and blood work? And then lastly is, remember old Benjamin Franklin? He said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And this is what this is all about today. That I personally don't want to wait till I succumb to something and then have to deal with it. I am all about being proactive. And that's what I am encouraging you all to do. Take charge of your health. Don't wait for the doctor to say, oh, maybe you ought to do this or that. They're busy people. Be proactive. Find out what you need and get the tests you need and whatever else. I'm overdue for a pneumonia series and maybe a couple other things. I need to get on that. But as far as the tests and all, they're really important to make happen. So, it does not matter how our hair, our makeup, our clothes, our shoes, all that money and effort that we may put into ourselves or on ourselves. What does that matter without our health? My dad, in his wisdom, said many times, it doesn't matter if you're a multimillionaire. If you or me or them do not have their health, what good is it? So that's all for today. Next week, you're going to love less this and more food and what to do. So thank you all for joining in, and I hope that you'll share this information in our group. It could be one of the best gifts that you give to those that you care about. This is important stuff. Okay? See you next time.